Hey everyone, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we're out reviewing the 2021 Cadillac Escalade. I'm just going to get right on into it here. This has been an interesting vehicle to review. There's a lot going on with it. It's a big truck, new for 2021, packed full of features, a lot of hype. So what do I think of it? Well, it does a lot of things great, it does a lot of things poorly. So we're going to drive it around a little bit here, talk about how it rides, how it drives, take it stopped, go through a lot of the interior features, of which there are many, wrap things up. If you want to see more on the Escalade, check the links in the description for our real-world highway fuel economy test on this 6.2-liter V8, as well as our test on the excellent 36, or so they say, speaker AKG audio system. That is something to hear. So the big and bold Cadillac Escalade. This thing is a status symbol competing with the Lincoln Navigator for the large American luxury SUV category. There are some things it does better than the Navigator and some things it doesn't. I think the best place to experience the Escalade is from the driver's seat. They did an amazing job with all of this infotainment, all the screens. They work really well. They are intuitive. They look nice. They built it into the dash nicely. Everything's really good from that regard, and it's easy to use. Not only that, but this thing drives relatively well for its size. It's a little bit more cumbersome than the Navigator, but not dramatic. And I will say that although it gets slightly worse fuel economy, I would rather be driving this 6.2 than the 3.5-liter EcoBoost most days of the week. That is until I go to fill it up. But outside of that, this thing is cumbersome to drive. You're driving a big truck. It's still body on frame. It's still not something that is enjoyable to haul around. The only thing that is kind of enjoyable is if you turn traction and stability control off, two-wheel drive mode, you can roast the tires. Ask me how I know. The ride is okay for what this is. Big body on frame trucks like this, they handle the big bumps really well, but they also transmit the little bumps through the cabin pretty clearly. So there are plenty of exhaustive reviews on this car on the internet. If you haven't seen Doug DeMuro's Cadillac Escalade review, that's certainly one to watch. But this one we're sitting in right here is $112,000. It's the Platinum Sport trim. It does feature this beautiful leather. They call it dark auburn. It's almost purpley brown. I really like that for a luxury car. It looks excellent. Let's go through some of these screen features here. On the left side, this is a scrollable trip meter screen. I think that works nice. And also pop over here and change the middle cluster from gauge to map. Nice, crisp, high refresh rate map there. You also have AR camera, stands for augmented reality, and that allows you to have your navigation directions show up as little arrows and icons on an actual camera version of the car. And then you have a night vision camera. Haven't really seen a bunch of benefit to that, but I suppose if you're driving down a dark country road, you have that on and it senses anything with heat that might run out in front of you. On over here, the infotainment screen, if you want to see more on this, check our audio system review in the description, but it is super cool how it can be a touch screen as well as controlled through this rotary knob. Very intuitive, it's easy to pick up on, and also nice to live with. Navigation screen looks good. Audio works well. It does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so that's really nice to see. Not a ton of usable storage space for how large this is. It'd be nice if this were a center pass-through, fit more in there. The center compartment is refrigerated if you want it to be, but that means it's not as big as some of its competitors. You do have this nice little storage area, so that's good, but it'd be nice to see maybe something up here, something to complement the glove box and the door pockets, just for more stuff putting. I mean, a big vehicle like this, you're likely going to be doing a lot of traveling. You want places to put your crap. I love the climate control setup here. It's all physical. You see these screens when you adjust things. Looks nice, easy to use. They didn't bury it away in the infotainment or anything. Good on Cadillac. Hopping out, I am not a fan of this color combo. Black wheels, black accents, and white paint. I just think it looks bleh. But Alyssa likes it, and looks are subjective. I also think the new Escalade is bland. I think it looks way too similar to the XT6, and I know that was probably intentional on Cadillac's part, but it doesn't stand out. I think Escalades from 2005 have more of that wow factor than this thing does. I do think they did a good job with the back. I appreciate the big Cadillac style taillights. A few other features back here. You can either kick the tailgate open by kicking right there, or you just press the badge, and that's the button to pop open the trunk. Decent amount of room back here. I was able to fit a mountain bike in with all the seats folded down. Have some underfloor storage. Here's a great example though of just GM quality control, if you will, or lack of precision. Right now, the middle two seats in the second row are moved all the way back, for most legroom, for example. Now, with this third row seat down, I tried to raise it back up, and it won't go. It's stuck. So you can see these buttons are supposed to raise and lower the seats. There's the left one. You can hear it kind of rubs against the seat up there. Then I try to bring it back up, and it gets stuck. How does Cadillac not figure that out? How does an engineer or something not be playing around with this, doing test control, and realize, ooh, if the second row is pushed all the way back, you can't get the third row seats back up. Can I work them? Can I wiggle them? They keep trying to make it. They make it a little further every time. No, not gonna happen. What if I come all the way down, go full blast, go, 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 go? Nope, not happening. That's a bit of a head shake right there. So, I'm gonna go up here and just go. Then you can come back and put those up. Or, alternatively, I will admit, you can fold the second seats from here, so I could press this button, move that up and out of the way, and then I can lift the seat. But what if somebody's sitting up there? Or what if you have things up there? What if you have a nice wedding cake that's held up in the second seat very meticulously, and you accidentally fold that down, and away goes your cake? I don't know. Just seems a bit lazy. Other than that, you have some nice details, grocery bag hooks, standard fare SUV business. The Escalade does have an air suspension with GM's magnetic ride control. So right now it's lower down in sort of an entry-exit mode, easier to get in and out of. I do appreciate that. It's also got a higher up off-road mode. These seats are pretty easy to operate. You can just press this button right back here, get them to pop up. And this is another kind of confusing point to me, because let's put this seat back in its upright position, back and everything. Cadillac has two very similar ways to deal with the seat. You could either use this handle, 1, 2, very easy, up out of the way, not a big deal, doesn't feel exactly $100,000 elegant, but it's there. But if you have that, why not just tell people to use this button? You just press that, and then it's one. Oh, you know what? Oh, yeah, 2 taps, you can get out that way. And I know it's for the third row, but again, just kind of confusing. Pop it into the third row, put this seat at least upright. I can't get it all the way back, but I was a little bit disappointed in the lack of luxury back here. It feels very simple. The seats are very upright with no way to recline them in the third row, so as a 5'10" adult, I have enough head and legroom, but the seat's not particularly comfortable. You do have USB-C ports on both sides, so that's nice. No sort of flip-down armrest. The leather feels good enough. On to the second row. Nice panoramic sunroof, even though it doesn't go all the way back. Still good to see. Obviously have this big screen staring back at us. You can listen to USB music, but no radio inputs, so that was a bit of a bummer. And you've got these headphones on. You can also watch things. There's HDMI inputs, Miracast for your phone, or USB video. And their big gimmick is the navigation screen back here. So once it loads up, these passengers can put in addresses, maybe say they want to grab some pizza. Say, all right, let's go to Domino's. then they can actually send this up to the front seat, and the driver or passenger up there can choose to accept it, and it will bake it right into the navigation system. Other than that, again, not the most comfortable middle seats. They're fairly narrow, actually, but headroom and legroom are totally fine. You can recline these ones quite a bit, and you have these flip-down center armrests. Well, actually only on one side, so you can go door and side armrest. Heated seats in the back, as well as a rear climate control zone, 2 cup holders, and your 2 USB-Cs and HDMIs down there, as well as a wall-style outlet, which is also available in the back. Another interesting omission, in my opinion, is right up here. This handle is just hard plastic. Now, you know, here at Daily Motor, we're not ones to complain about hard materials, but anything you touch regularly should feel good, especially in a $100,000 vehicle. And this, when in competitors, you've got a nice leather-wrapped handle, feels wonderful. This is cheap. There's no getting around it. Cadillac could easily stand to spend the extra $1 per part, just pass that cost on to the customer, or eat it, one of the two, and make this feel good. Silly omission in my eyes. Also, the shifter. Come on, man. This is not the most luxurious feeling shifter. The Navigator, you have these very nice buttons that you press. They look good, feel nice. This thing looks like it was taken right out of the Chevy Bolt. My lasting thoughts on the Escalade echo my thoughts on a lot of GM products. When any division of General Motors sets their mind to building an excellent product, they succeed. C8 Corvette, for example, that entire car is a slam dunk. They did everything right with it. A lot of their electric vehicles, the Chevy Volt, the Bolt EV, they wanted to build a good electric vehicle. They did. This Cadillac, I'm sure one of the prime points was someone in General Motors or Cadillac saying, we want to have an excellent infotainment system. We're sick of being ridiculed for our Q system. Let's make something great. And they did. They set their mind to it, and this thing is great. But it's so common for them to screw up so many of the other simple things. And in this case, we're talking general luxuriousness. I know people have always joked that the Escalade is just a gussied up Tahoe, but in this case, it really feels like a slap in the face once you get outside of the driver's seat. Yes, up here you've got massaging seats, you have an excellent sound system, great navigation, all this sort of thing. Driver's seat is pretty good. But anywhere else in the vehicle, you really have to wonder why you're spending $100,000. And on top of that, getting the Escalade at least used to get you that bling bling factor, the wow factor of the top level GM SUV. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like that's lost here with this generation of Escalade. Up here on the highway, get an idea for noise. This is a louder section of concrete highway, but when you're driving around on the highway and you have the panoramic sunroof covered up and you're on a quieter section of highway than this, it's remarkably quiet in here. There's virtually no wind noise, engine quiets right down. They did a really good job at isolation. But another Cadillac rant incoming here, no Super Cruise on this model. This thing's $112,000, and Cadillac makes one of, if not the best semi-autonomous driving feature. It's better than Tesla's autopilot, and yet they're not including it. It's bonkers to me. You can buy a $40,000 Tesla Model 3 and get semi-autonomous driving included, but you can't here in this $112,000 Escalade. Not only that, it's a press vehicle. Why wouldn't they want to show that off? They should have that on every Cadillac, period. But even at least every press Cadillac. And this is the platinum trim. It's not even like this is a base model or anything like that. So that's it riles me up. I don't know. It's a shame because I get worked up about things that should be better and brands and products that I know can be better. They just need a little bit more something. A lot of times if it's just a little bit more effort, that's what makes me mad. I want Cadillac to be proud of Super Cruise. I want it to be something that people can associate with Cadillac and be proud of Cadillac for, and they're dropping the ball. You can have night vision but you can't have Super Cruise? Anyway, that kind of sums up my feelings on the Escalade. It could be so much better. It does some things really, really well. If I could just take this section and remove it and put it in other cars, wonderful. And that's where the Navigator really drops the ball, is that infotainment system is just pitiful. It's like 10 years behind this. So if Lincoln could step their game up and get a better infotainment system, there'd be no reason to buy an Escalade over the Navigator. Even if you don't like the 3.5 EcoBoost, I'm sorry, the Navigator has so much more of a presence to it. They have those stupid special editions like the yacht package, which is what we had. But those materials were awesome and they looked so good. The leather was nice. Had this beautiful ivory sort of layout. Everything was just, it carried a wow factor, which is what you need to sell $100,000 cars. I would be really surprised if this thing sells better than previous Escalades. I really would. So, some really good things going for it, but at the end of the day, the Escalade is a no-go for me. Do like that sound system though. Backup camera works really well, looks nice. You have a bunch of different settings. You can even do this as you're starting to see more and more of this kind of augmented reality 3D overhead view where you can kind of drive like a video game. But again, here's just yet another example of Cadillac not doing something as well as other brands. I know this is petty, but when we're talking luxury vehicles, you gotta be kind of petty. Watch me go into drive here. I'm gonna move, the car's gonna move like a foot or two before the wheels actually start spinning. Now in other brands, as soon as you start moving, the wheels move. It's just little attentions to detail like that that are keeping Cadillac from being a true luxury player. So thank you all so much for watching. If you're a Cadillac fanboy and you're mad at me, I'm sorry. I like it. I want it to be just that much better. They had the opportunity. They did some things great, but dropped the ball on others. If you want to see more on the Escalade, check the links in the description to that 36-speaker AKG audio system test. Definitely worth watching. And our highway fuel economy test. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.